In this video, I'm going to teach you 3 secrets about discipline that no one ever told you. This video is sponsored by my tasker, but more about them later. Secret number 1. You need to have an internal locus of control and a growth mindset. So essentially there was a research from 2 different groups that all included just children that had essentially an average IQ. And they gave both of these groups of children puzzles that were ranging from easy, medium, and hard. And one group was told that they were essentially really smart, and that's why they were going to do better than the other group in this test. And the other group was told that they were hardworking and dedicated and they would never give up, and that's why they're going to do better than the other kids. Which group would essentially win? And you can probably guess the results. The group that was told that they were really hardworking students that would never give up because of the fact that they were dedicated had a much better score, much better essentially situation than the other kids. And the reason behind that was essentially the first group had essentially a fixed mindset. When they saw the first struggles and when they saw the first challenges, they just thought that they weren't smart enough to solve those essentially hard puzzles. On the other hand, where the students who were essentially told that they were really hardworking and they were dedicated, they really focused on those problems more, and they tried to solve those problems a lot really better than the other group because they were just told that they would essentially get better over time. So in the last couple of days I have been working on an absolutely free PDF for you guys, which is about basically how you can build and design your perfect daily routine with the strategies that I have been learning for the last couple of years about productivity, high performance, and everything that goes with that. So that free PDF is linked in the description. The first link in the description, go to that link and I'm gonna send that PDF to you through email. So that is something I wanted you to know because it is incredibly valuable and I do not want you to miss it. And that is why you should have a growth mindset in your life instead of a fixed one. And you should have an internal locus of control rather than an external locus of control. And an internal locus of control essentially means that you are gonna take responsibility for everything that you have in your life, and you are gonna know that if you put in the work that you're gonna succeed. But for example, an external locus of control or someone with an external locus of control would say, the reason why I'm not successful is because of this, and it was because of that. But the person who has an internal locus of control will say, yes, I didn't succeed, but that is because of me, I didn't do the work. Secret number 2. Systems over goals. This is something that James Clear talks a lot about in his book Atomic Habits, which I have read over 2, 3, 4 times, and which I also have recommended to you guys a couple of times. If you still haven't read it, you definitely should. And here I want to share something that I kind of am struggling with about productivity, especially for a couple of last essentially weeks, I would say 2 to 3 weeks, which a lot of YouTubers do not really share, but I really do want to be 100% transparent and real with you guys, so essentially here it goes. I'm generally incredibly productive between 5 a.m. to 7:30, which is my before school productivity time, where I do my deep work, my morning routine. You know what the deal is, go check my video out about my morning routine. And then, of course, I have my school until essentially like 3 p.m. And then I'm also essentially really productive between 8 to 9:30 p.m. where I have my evening routine, my like closing way of my day. I have essentially a lot of structure there too, but the time span from 3 p.m. all the way to 8 p.m. So at the end of my school to where my evening routine starts, I do not have 100% really good structures and systems and processes there. And that was something that I have been really struggling with over the past few weeks. Why? Because there are things that I have to do for this YouTube channel that requires a lot of me doing some work on my phone. This might be answering your comments, which I do. I answer every single one of your comments. At the same time, I also comment sometimes on other people's videos. I also check out sometimes like how many subscribers we gained or how the YouTube channel is doing and stuff. So I check my phone sometimes quite often in the evenings because that's when I've already lost a good portion of my willpower from the morning. When you're on your phone and do your work, you generally go on to other stuff like watching some videos from other people or just scrolling through Instagram and stuff. And I feel like it is just incredibly hard for me to just do work and then just leave it there and then go back to my, for example, physical work of making videos, studying, or other things that I do. So this is something that I've been really struggling with. Why? Because I do not have, or I did not have structure and systems and processes dialed in there. And that was a big problem that I had. That's why structure, systems, and processes are incredibly important when it comes to essentially having a perfect day. And I was left on my own devices, and that is exactly exactly what you do not want when it comes to essentially having a really good day in your life. That's why always structure first of all your morning, and then the next thing you should structure is your evening, and then every spot that you have in between you should structure to those things too. And when I say structure, I do not just mean just being 100% productive all the time. Also, for example, I structure some family time, but when I do not structure, for example, the time that I have with my family, then I might just spend 3-4 hours instead of the 2 hours that I should be spending, which means I'm not gonna go to bed at the same time that I should do. Then I'm not gonna wake up that early because I am not really energized, and that whole cycle of unproductivity will essentially start again, and that's what we do not want. Secret number 3. You can change your life in any moment you want. So there's an incredible story I really want you to see.
He said, well, this guy was failing out of high school. He was struggling. He was raised by a single mom in the Midwest, but he promised his mother he would take a test called the SAT. So he takes the SAT in May, his junior year, doesn't expect anything, gets his score back in June. Now the SAT, which I don't know how many your population know, but it's a standardized test with a math part and a verbal part. Both are scored out of 800 points. Well, this guy takes it. He's bombing. He's failing out of school. He doesn't expect anything as he's telling the story at Toastmasters. Well, he gets a 1480 out of 1600. He gets the score, and his mother, doing what any mother would do, knowing her kid, says, did you cheat? Right? She knows her son. And he says, I swear to God, I tried to cheat, but the way the numbers were and the scantrons and the bubbles, you couldn't cheat. Realizes he's smart, and he's going into his senior year. He says, I'm going to go to class. Now he starts to go to class. He doesn't hang out with who he did when he didn't go to class. Teachers see him in class and they said, hey, maybe Franklin Pierce, maybe we missed the boat on this kid. So they start to treat him differently. Well, as the guy would tell the story, he graduates, goes to a community college, goes on to Wichita State, goes on to the Ivy League, and becomes this massively successful magazine entrepreneur. So I said, okay, well, the guy was always smart. He just needed a standardized test to unlock it. My dad said, no, that's not the story, and this is what I want you to understand. He said, 12 years after all this guy's success, he gets a letter in the mail from Princeton, New Jersey. He opens it. The year he took the test, he was one of 13 people sent the wrong SAT score. His actual score was a 740 out of 1600. And he said, people think my whole life changed when I got the 1480. But what happened? My whole life changed when I started acting like a 1480.
So it is not about who you are. It is all about how you see yourself, and you can change how you see yourself in a second. And this idea was something I've been hearing about from the podcast, The Mindset Mentor from Rob Dial, and this was a really interesting idea that I had to really look into, and I do think that this is just really fascinating. By the way, I just spit like this into the camera. So it is not about who you are. It is all about how you see yourself and how you can change your perception into your life in any moment you want. It is all about if you make that decision to change your life in any second, you can make that change the moment this video ends or 5 years from now, where you will be wasting 5 more